Alright guys, welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts discussion topic video with HMK. I've got our very special guest, my good friend, fellow keykeeper, Cynical from TheGamersJoint. Say hello.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It is Cynical from TheGamersJoint. I'm happy to be here to discuss about the certain topics, so yeah, let's do it.
Alright, so let's get into it. I know this topic is going to hit a lot of buttons, and I know that a lot of people are going to be hyped for it. And that is the question: should Roxas return in Kingdom Hearts 3? Now, I know there's a lot of people on the fence, and I want to give some reasons behind why I want Roxas to return. Not only just because, you know, he is my favorite Kingdom Hearts character of all time, you know, just saying, but I feel that Roxas can return in a very impactful way and can affect the story, and that the story will reach new heights with him returning. There's a lot of people saying that, oh, Roxas shouldn't return, neither should Xion or Nominate, because that will make their disappearance or them fading away less impactful for the story. But I tend to disagree. Before I get to my reasons, how about you speak a little bit about this?
So yeah, in terms of Roxas returning, I am like all for him returning. He is a very, very beloved character when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, and honestly, he is definitely a character that has shown, I would say, the most emotion out of all of the characters within Kingdom Hearts. And that's funny just mainly because of the fact that nobodies are meant to be these beings who, of course, don't feel feelings, right? But it's strange that that is an apparent thing in Kingdom Hearts, when clearly in Kingdom Hearts 358 over 2 days, Roxas is a character who shows immense emotions, and I think through those emotions, us as fans of the game have become attached to him as a character, and it's kind of hard letting go. So I know a lot of us want him to return, and I definitely hope that he does in Kingdom Hearts 3.
I couldn't agree more. Now, let's get into some of the reasons why I believe that Roxas should return as a character as opposed to other quote-unquote nobodies or organization members. Now, unlike I would say 11 of the other organization members, Roxas and Xemnas are special because they show a very huge contrast between themselves and their original self. Roxas was able to be his own person, and we see that in 350 over 2 days. He molds his own personality. He's much more brash, calculating, angry. He shows all these emotions, a wider range than Sora can ever be capable of. And that's a great reason in itself. Unlike, I would say, organization members numbers 2 through 12, their personalities, their being, greatly reflects those of their original selves. Xigbar to Braig, Alias to Lexaeus, etc., etc. But Roxas and Xemnas are the only ones kind of exempt to that rule. And we did see Xemnas come back, so that kind of like puts the whole argument of, you know, they shouldn't come back because their deaths will be less impactful. We've seen Xemnas and Ansem come back, and we've seen Xigbar / Braig come back. So I mean, like, if these enemies came back, what's the big issue with, you know, some of the protagonists coming back? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, I feel that for sure. And like you were mentioning, you know, there definitely is a kind of special, I suppose you could say, like, thing that lingers around both Roxas as well as Xemnas. Both of these nobodies can actually coexist in the same time as their somebodies can coexist. So, like, if we look at, like, the rest of the organization members, we know that their somebodies, you know, like, they were, I don't know where they were like, floating around somewhere in space. They weren't in existence until both their Heartless and their nobody form was defeated, so that they could come back, you know, like, their original human self. So I think that's another interesting thing to look at. Both, you know, Roxas and Xemnas can coexist at the same time as their somebodies. And, you know, whether that has to do with something because of the fact that obviously Ventus is residing within inside of Sora's heart. So technically kind of Roxas comes from two different, you know, people, just, you know, because of the fact that Ventus resides within inside of Sora's heart. It's kind of like, I don't know, like, unbalanced towards kind of figuring that out. But I think that's really, really interesting just due to the fact that for the other nobodies, their somebodies can't coexist during the same time as their nobody forms are actually in existence.
Right. That's a very, very interesting fact, and let's spin off that a little bit about Roxas being able to coexist with Sora. Now, in all the games ever since Roxas reunited with Sora, there has been massive foreshadowing to Roxas either returning or still being a blatant force within the Kingdom Hearts series. And Tatsuro Nomura even stated that Roxas will remain an important character in the Kingdom Hearts series until the end. Roxas is still very important to the story. And as we've seen in Dream Drop Distance Recoded and Dream Drop Distance and Recoded, Roxas, refuses to be forgotten, and we've seen a lot of people still talk about him. Young Xehanort even mentioned him, that Roxas was the original choice even before Riku, when it was turning a 13th member, a 13th member of the new organization into a Xehanort. And we even see in the Dream Drop Distance opening that Roxas was part of the so-called 7 Guardians of Light at the time, but we still don't know how valid this can be, because we do know Kairi does become, or I should say, is becoming a 13th, but a 7 Guardian of Light. And that's another thing that kind of attributes to a reason why Roxas should return and could return, is because, Roxas is a Keyblade wielder, and one of the most powerful we've seen at that, the first Keyblade wielder we've seen to dual wield Keyblades. So, I mean, in itself, Roxas has so many important features and connections to him that cannot be ignored, and I feel that that is one of the biggest contributing factors to Roxas returning in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, definitely. And I think a foreshadowing, like you were mentioning, that is very, very important towards bringing back, Roxas, and not only Roxas, but like even Shion, and as well as the 3 missing friends, talking about Aqua, Ventus, as well as Terra. The cutscene towards the end of Recoded, there was massive foreshadowing at the end of that game, talking about how Sora will bring back those hearts that have been damaged and that have been lost. And first of all, it showed, Roxas, Shion, and Axel, or kind of Lee. We know that Lee's back now. And then it also showed Ventus, Terra, and Aqua. Also adding on to that, between the conversation of Aqua and Ansem the Wise, Ansem was mentioning that Sora has a very, very special kind of power that can actually bring back the hearts that are connected to him. Because, of course, we know that Sora is connected to so many people, and that he has the power to mend those hearts back. So there's been a lot of foreshadowing of, saying that, Sora is this special kid who has this special gift, and that he will eventually bring back and mend the hearts that have been lost. And that's been mentioned countless times in different other Kingdom Hearts games. So I think that's very, very kind of important to look into towards bringing not only Roxas back, but as well as, Shion, Terra, Ventus, as well as Aqua.
And that also has a big connection in Dream Drop Distance. Remember that conversation that Riku had with the digital version of Ansem the Wise? He even said, went on with what we learned in Recoded, that Sora may have the power to bring back not only the hearts, but the existences of those connected to him. And he went on to, talk about, or say, foreshadow. We use this word foreshadow a lot, so it's a very, very important word. Foreshadow the return of all these people: Roxas, Ventus, Aqua, Terra, nominate Shion by saying certain things, like referring to Shion as an empty puppet, or referring to nominate as our most treasured possessions, and even talking about Roxas and Ventus with their connections, saying that they're either trapped in the darkness of Sora's heart, which, is Roxas. He is one from the dark, as he would say, a denizen of darkness, as his profile will say in many Kingdom Hearts games, or was welcomed into his light, or the warmth of his light, which is obviously Ventus, because Ventus was, the more light. I would say the more lighter does that even make sense? Okay, whatever. The more lighter person, light driven character when it comes to comparing Sora, Roxas, and Ventus. And so, there's a lot of potential, I would say, for Roxas to come back. Now let's talk about something a little bit different when it comes to Roxas. We want Roxas to come back. Now let's talk about how would it affect Kingdom Hearts and the characters if Roxas were to come back. Would you think it would positively influence? Because, of course, me and you, we want Roxas to come back. But actually thinking about it, would it, prove fruitful for the Kingdom Hearts series for Roxas to come back? I say yes because I mean, like, these are great characters. A lot of people love to see them. A lot of people think that they're great. And maybe we could potentially have the chance to play as them. But I want to know what you think a little bit.
So yeah, like Roxas coming back and like you know the impacts that'll have on the other characters. Well, first of all, I think Sora is the most important to kind of look towards. Obviously in Dream Drop Distance when Sora made it to the world that never was, we see that kind of conversation between Sora and Roxas, and Sora heavily believes that Roxas is his own person and should be his own person. So I would love to actually see the day, perhaps in Kingdom Hearts 3, where Roxas actually does become his own person and he's, you know, his own being. And to see kind of like Sora's expression and feelings and thoughts towards that. Not only that, but Riku as well. Obviously, we know that Riku is very aware of Roxas, as, you know, it was a big deal towards actually, you know, defeating Roxas in order to bring back Sora and, you know, mend his memories back during
Roxas
the
beat the
time.
shit out of him.
Of course, yeah, exactly. But it would be cool to, you know, see those characters actually link up and whatnot. And of course, it would be amazing to see Axel, or more so Lee now, you know, see Roxas again, and perhaps to see whether, you know, his memories would come back. You know, remembering the times that they shared in Twilight Town on the clock tower, and like the ice cream, and like all the missions that they spent doing for the organization. So like in terms of like Roxas coming back, I think the impact on the characters would be like really, really interesting to see, and to see how they would interact with each other, how it would be, you know, laid out, and how they would exactly bring Roxas back and present it. It's something that interests me. I don't exactly know how it would happen, but I'm definitely all for it, and I think it would be great to see the character interactions.
Right, and that's a very good thing that you stated, and it's gonna spin into another thing that is heavily wanted by fans everywhere. Not only just because they like the character, but you know, elements of the story. Because Roxas is tied, connected to so many loose ends. All right, we never saw him truly say goodbye to his friends. We never see him truly, you know, interact what could have been, where he would set Kingdom Hearts 3, but Kingdom Hearts free. We never truly saw him him fulfill his promise to Shion and Axel. And most
And the
importantly,
biggest one.
yes, the biggest one, we've never seen him face Xemnas. Because that's what we all want, and that's what he wants out of nothing. He has a score to settle with the superior of the in-between, and that is one of the biggest reasons why we should see Roxas return in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yeah, I mean, like, Sora versus Xehanort would be amazing. And then Sora's nobody, Roxas, versus, you know, obviously Xehanort's nobody. It'd just be so badass. And, like, you know, Roxas was pissed off during that day. And the fact that he got cock-blocked during the whole situation, I was like, no, I want to see that fight so bad. And the fact that we're most likely going to be facing off against all of the 13 Seekers of Darkness in Kingdom Hearts 3 gets me so pumped. But I hope that Roxas, if he returns, I hope he is the one to put an end to Xemnas. Even though Xemnas is an amazing villain, I think it's time to say goodbye to that dude, and I think that Roxas needs to do exactly that job.
Definitely, I could not agree with you more. And on the terms of agreeing, I want to know what everyone here who saw this video thinks in the comments section below. Do you believe that Roxas has an unsettled score with Xemnas? And in further that, do you guys believe that Roxas should return in Kingdom Hearts 3? Let me and the Gamers Joint know in the comment section below. And while you're there, please like, share, favorite, and most importantly, subscribe to HMK and check out the Gamers Joint for a massive amount of Kingdom Hearts content. And I'd like to thank him once again for being on my video.
Alright guys, well yeah, hopefully you have enjoyed the video, and thanks to HMK for allowing me to discuss this with him, and we'll catch you guys next time.